Hello, everyone. If you're having a bad day, take a moment to sit down and listen to this story. Maybe, just maybe, it will bring you a little peace and help you feel a bit better. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived an old man who was known by everyone for his constant smile and peaceful heart. He wasn't rich, nor did he live a luxurious life, but everyone around the village deeply respected him. Whenever someone faced difficulties or felt confused, they would often come to him, hoping to find comfort in his wise words. One afternoon, a young man came to visit him. He had been observing the old man for a long time and finally asked, "Sir, I've always wondered, how can you always be so happy? Life is full of problems, yet you never seem sad or worried. Don't you ever feel down?" The old man looked at him kindly and replied, "My dear boy, life is a blend of sunshine and storms. Some days are easy and others are hard. But I've learned something very important. Happiness doesn't depend on what happens around us. It comes from within." The young man, surprised, asked again, "But how can you be happy when everything goes wrong?" The old man smiled gently and said, "Let me tell you a story from my life, and then you'll understand." He leaned back and began his story in a calm voice. "When I was young," he said, "I lived a simple but joyful life. I had a loving wife and 2 children. We didn't have much, but our hearts were full of joy. We laughed together, shared warm meals, and enjoyed the little moments in everyday life. Life felt complete. But then one day, my wife fell seriously ill. We tried everything we could, but we didn't have enough money to buy the proper medicine. I watched her suffer, and then she passed away. That was the darkest moment of my life. I cried for days, feeling like my entire world had collapsed." The young man remained silent, touched by the story. The old man continued, "After my wife died, it felt like a part of me was gone. For many weeks, I could hardly eat or sleep. But one morning, I looked at my children's faces, so innocent, so full of hope, and I knew I had to choose. I could drown in sorrow, or I could try to live again, for them and for myself. I began to change the way I saw life," he said. "I realized that pain is a part of life, but so is joy. I couldn't control everything that happened, but I could control how I responded." The young man listened attentively as the old man smiled and said, "Every morning when I woke up, I told myself, today is a new day. I will find something to be grateful for. Some days were hard, but even on the worst days, I would notice something, a bird's song, the warmth of the sun, or a kind word from a passerby. Those small things saved me." The young man asked, "But what if something terrible happens again?" The old man replied, "Then I remind myself, this too shall pass. Even the hardest moments don't last forever, and in the midst of all that pain, there is still something good worth holding on to." The young man reflected, "But how do you stay positive when everything seems difficult?" The old man responded, "It's not easy, and there are days I struggle too. But I've learned to find joy in small things, a sunrise, a blooming flower, or a neighbor's smile. These little moments add up." He continued, "Happiness isn't about having perfect circumstances. It's about choosing to see the good, even when life is tough. It comes from within, not from the outside. And the more you practice this, the stronger your happiness becomes." The young man thanked the old man for his wise advice and decided to apply it. From that day on, he looked for something good in every situation, no matter how small. Gradually, he noticed his life improving. When difficulties came, he learned to stay positive and find joy in the little things. The old man's story quickly spread throughout the village, inspiring many people. They began to understand that happiness comes from within, not from outside circumstances. Life will always bring challenges, but by focusing on the good and being thankful, anyone can find joy. The villagers learned to choose happiness every day, just like the wise old man. As a result, the entire village became more joyful and peaceful. And so, our story comes to an end. If it brought a little warmth to your heart, I invite you to stay a while longer. Subscribe and join me again for the next tale that life quietly whispers to those